Hey everybody, welcome back to Absolutely. I'm Dylan, that's Hassan, and today we are going to be talking about Superman and Lois Season 2, Episode 15, the finale. But before we get into that, we gotta pay us.
We gotta turn the lights on in all of our various homes. None of us are ever in the same place. But you know what? You know how you can help us out a little bit? That you can use code G Fuel. You can go on G Fuel and use code COMICS. Supports us, supports them. G Fuel's a great partner. Honestly, G Fuel tastes fantastic. And then, just subscribe. A lot of our viewers just linger. They're cool. They see in the recommended feed. They watch every video. That's awesome. But if you sub, we're trying to get to 100,000. So help us get there, maybe.
24% of you guys are not subscribed. How dare you?
Maybe we shouldn't share that number. I thought it was going to be significantly higher. I thought it was going to be like 70% of viewers. No, actually, our subscribers are awesome. They watch everything.
4 million of you are not subscribed. How
4 million% of you aren't subbed. Do we need to redo that? Should we redo that?
No, it's fine. Anyway, Superman, the finale of Superman and Lois Season 2. This season has been kind of a roller coaster, which is the same as the first season. But I think it ended fine.
Yeah. It was cool. It introduced something into the Superman mythos that I don't know if I've never read it in the comics. I don't know if that's a thing, but like Water Fortress ? I like that. Sure. That was kind of dope. I had fun with it. I think that, when Dan was reviewing this with me, Dan was very passionately upset about the drama. And the biggest issue he had was that Sarah cheated on Jordan and then didn't apologize. And,
they have a resolution of that in this.
Which is great, right? Like across the board. That was cool. I mean, Jordan got to continue to be badass with his powers. Superman got dropped into the sun, which is like exactly what I was thinking. Why didn't they just do that? I will say, question. And this is one plot hole, continuity hole. Dog, you don't have powers, but you can breathe in space?
Yeah.
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 That was it. I love his dynamic with Tal-Rho. I thought that was so funny in this.
Yeah, they're great. I love that
honestly,
he ended up on the other Earth at the end of this, right?
Yeah, he's basically going to go and be their Superman, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is
fun.
fun.
If we forget things, by the way, during this episode, it's been like a couple weeks since this episode aired. So,
and that's on me, guys. I'll take responsibility there. I was out of town, and then just stuff has been happening, but I might have a special Superman and Lois treat afterwards if I can get Alex to come on for an interview. So we'll do that, and that's I'm sorry, guys, but I got you something cool. But yeah, we're a couple weeks out. But yeah, he went to the other Earth, which was dope. And then he walks out, he's like, I'm here to be your savior. And I was like, dude, what are you? I love it. Because that actor, I mean, he never had good material, but I think the brotherly dynamic with Superman, that's really cool. It's honestly really fun on screen. I know it's not comic book at all, and this guy was discount Zod last season, but he's fine.
The thing about the not comic book, this show is just an adaptation of Superman and Lois as a family unit, and they decided to make a stance on they're doing something different when they have two sons in the show as opposed to one, and Jordan is the one with powers instead of Jonathan, so they're clearly doing their own thing, and I think just as an extension of that, if you want to make a show about Superman and also have it be a CW drama about family, then having Superman have a brother kind of works. I don't mind it. I don't really care about comic accuracy in that department.
I absolutely do not. And it works really well on the show. And there's I also, I love the idea of Lana Lang, which is so integral to Superman's mythos as far as the younger years are concerned. We bring Lana back in kind of an interesting way, and then you have a Kent Lang love, but it's just not Superman. So no cheating on your wife. But it's so weird because it almost feels like that's always going to come up because it's just they have chemistry. The two actors do have chemistry on screen and they have history. But it's just no, they genuinely love each other so much, but they're not interested in anything like that.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's also it's, when you're a kid, and you grow out of a love that you had as a kid and you're now adults, it sort of morphs and changes. You're so far removed from that where it's yeah, I liked you when I was 13, but I'm a completely different person now. So I still love you, just not in that way.
Lana brings that up when she when episodes ago when Clark reveals his secret identity to her. She's like, why would you never tell me? I deserve to have known, because it probably would have made a big difference back when they were still kids back then. But yeah, Lana's doing mayor stuff in this episode, is absolutely being disrespected. But that happened last episode where she was getting
Yes.
ripped into by everybody?
That was last time.
So this episode's just chaos then, if I recall. It's just all that.
Yeah, he gets his powers back, and then he I don't remember. Somebody rips the alleys apart. I don't remember if that's Doom Guy and Little Doom Guy, or if that's Superman. I don't recall. But
I love the actor who plays John Henry, and I honestly like Natalie too. So it's like their suits, it's whack. But them and like what they were doing, I loved it. I love that she like comes to the rift and he's like, "Where's the XK? You got it?" And he's like, "Wait, what?" And then they find a hack me way to do it. But it's
that's
still
the thing about this show is it's so weird. It's like whenever it's doing super stuff, it kind of isn't great, which is strange for a Superman show. But when it's not doing that, when it's just focusing on like family drama and interpersonal relationships, that's the stuff that I really like from this show. That's where it's doing well. And I think that is because everyone in this show is pretty good at their job, and the writers can write moment to moment dialogue better than they can write season long grand narratives. So
yeah, well, because like my favorite superpower stuff, it's Jordan discovering his powers more so than Superman doing anything badass. I like it, I don't mind it, but what's way cooler is Jordan when he like fought those the kidnappers and like a couple episodes ago, and he like smiles when he realizes how much faster he is than them, and then he beats out him, or him fighting Lana and Superboy or Evil Superboy. Like those are the moments that I'm like, this show is awesome. This show's so cool because you kind of live through them. I feel like when I was younger, I was living through like Clark Kent on Smallville, and now I'm like a little bit older, so I can't necessarily relate at that level because I'm not a high school kid. But there's something really special about Alex's performance in this. Alex Garfin like brings like a certain level of joy to the role of which like originally he like had to be like really whiny. So I think it's that we get to enjoy this like much better version of him now,
coming out of his shell. That was something that I criticized the show for originally. This was the writing. This wasn't really anyone on screen's fault, of like the premise of the show, where it's like they were portraying Jordan's character as this like freak because he had like anxiety, like such a normal thing to have, and it was really weirdly written. And that was, but like again, like they shied away from that. Eventually, they're like, "Oh, that was weird. Let's not do that. Let's move on and just treat everyone as people." And then it worked out a lot better. I have a question. That this plays into the writing of the show being weird, and also segues into probably the big thing that we're going to talk about for the rest of this. This event that happened of like worlds merging is a pretty like important thing to happen. And it seems like only Smallville noticed that it was happening.
Yeah. They're playing it really weird. Well, they keep stressing that, like, this is an Arrowverse show. They confirm it in the finale. That they're like,
right.
I've seen worlds with leagues of heroes, and we only have your father here, but he's the best one we got, whatever. Which is like, dude, okay. Whatever.
And that's the thing, is like we get very clear confirmation in this episode that Superman is the only superhero on this planet. And then we cut to later, it's like Smallville is the only place that's having a Superman festival, and no one else on the entire planet noticed.
Hopefully, you have to imagine maybe they're having it elsewhere, but he's in Smallville for some reason. That. I would have loved to see it too. But they're focusing on their town narrative. It does feel like Smallville's the only one that has a Superman now.
Right.
John Diggle comes back. So in this universe, John Diggle also works for Argus and somehow maintains the same haircut he has on Flash. So that's fun.
Oh,
even though they're variants of each
I
other.
was gonna say his hair looked a lot cooler, but I'm not watching Flash, so I was like, he just looks like that in Flash too.
He was in one episode of the Flash where he threw the box away that he had that with the Green Lantern ring in it. So that storyline that went on
Ramsey just looks like that now, because I saw an Instagram photo of him and Stephen Amell
recently.
And his hair looked like that, and I was like, oh, he probably just didn't want to cut his hair.
Well, in the story arc, he's supposed to be like really disgruntled, and like he hasn't seen his family, and he's been losing his mind over this box. That's why his hair's long. But he picks up. So I think we have confirmation now that Argus exists on their world. Diggle exists. Oliver did exist and did die also in their world, because Diggle says it in season 1, where he's like, Oliver would have something.
Oh god.
And then they talk about Crisis a lot, so like, I don't know.
Do they talk about Crisis? That's the thing, is like the show is so weird. They have, okay, because season 1, I guarantee you there was a different on high directive during season 1 than there was at like this episode, because in season 1, they were like, when Diggle showed up, they were playing with stuff. It's like, oh, Diggle, hi, you're from Argus, blah, blah, blah. And they're weird about like they like sort of imply that there's a time skip and that this does exist on the Arrowverse. It's just later. Because in the first episode of season 1, the last time we saw Superman, obviously he had left Earth with Lois to go to what is it, Kandor or whatever, that place.
Something with an A, not Argus.
Is it Argo?
Argo. It's Argo. Yeah.
Is it Argo? Okay, he went
Argo
went off to Argo, and it's like sort of implied that certain amount of years
we saw him
later
again.
They come back.
Did you watch Crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was there for Crisis. It wasn't just Argo City. He was back in like the whole thing, and then it ends. So
I thought he left after that. Was he in Crisis? I thought it was just Brandon Routh.
Part of Crisis. He was a big part of Crisis. Him and Brandon Routh fight during Crisis. Actually, the two Supermans fight each other. They even meet Tom Welling Superman on the farm.
I'm pretty sure. Are you sure?
1000%. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. No. So.
I thought Brandon Routh fought Brandon Routh in Crisis.
No. Brandon Routh fought
he's
Tyler
in
Hoechlin.
I'm wrong.
Yeah. He's playing Supergirl Superman, so he's different. He's not ours.
Right.
But and they leave on Argo City.
Where does he go after that?
It ends with him flying home after like their little Justice League meeting, and Lois says,
right.
"Hey, come home. The boys need you." And then he goes, "The boys." Not like that. Like, not referencing the Amazon the boys. As in, he has two sons, because when Crisis had started, he just had baby John. And now he has Jordan and John.
So the implication is that Crisis created another son.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's that, like, in this new universe, things happen differently. So that's how they were tying in before, but COVID made the crossovers that they had planned not happen.
Right.
So I think they're just writing out. And it makes more sense this way. Like, I hate to say it, but unless you have really, really good contracts for all these actors and, like, a really, really great narrative creative team, which CW does not, you're hard pressed to not make your show suck by the fact that Barry Allen exists in the same world as Superman, and it's like, oh man, I can't get there in time. Call your homie, dude. That dude could literally.
Yeah, this was the episode that they really needed to say that Superman was alone here, because again, like this was a world spanning like event that everyone would have seen. Friggin' Martians would have seen also. Nobody showed up to help. And like your answer is, okay, Superman's alone or everyone else is busy. But I wish they would have made it more of a statement in this episode where it's like, yeah, Superman is the only hero on this earth, but he's so great and everyone's looking up to him so much. That's like, show. This is the same problem I had with Moon Knight during Moon Knight's giant final confrontation, is like, you need to show, if you're going to do an event that's this big, you got to show people from different parts of the planet looking at it and being scared and then rejoicing when Superman finally saves them. It just gives it more impact than it's like this weird, like, it's just this tiny town where literally there's like, seems like there's 10 people in this town and they're the only ones who know that Minecraft
half of them
world is
cheated
coming.
on their spouses for some
That's
reason.
That's true.
Over half. And the other half is little news reporter girl who, with respect,
Smallville
I've never once cared for.
Smallville is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Smallville is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, no. So it's a fun setup. I like that everything kind of closes up. I was very happy Lana did not get back with Kyle. That felt good. It felt like she almost led him on, but I think that that's more realistic to life. That like during times of crisis, you do go back to comfort. But dude, you ruined this. They'll never go back. You'll never be husband and wife again.
We can be friendly, but like, and that we've said this multiple times, but like once you break that trust, like it's not something that can really be repaired. Like you can be friendly with someone, but to be as vulnerable as you were before is just not something that's easily accessible.
Yeah, and I appreciated their little last dance moment. Like that was sweet, and then it was just like, hey, goodbye. And I was like, good. That's good. That's a good place for this all to be. I was really scared they were just gonna get him back together, and I was like, dude. He was messing around with the town bartender. Like, come on, Mayor Lang, be better. Your name was better as Lana Lang. Lana Cushing is the worst name. Even Lana Cortez is not great. Lana Lang, that's it.
Get that alliteration.
Yeah, I love it. I love the. I love that Jordan gets to tell Sarah. I love that. I really like that little moment where they got to sit there and talk about it all, and she gets it. And we didn't do the most CW thing ever, which would have been, no, Jordan, look, I'm glad you're telling me all this and I get it, but that doesn't change how you hurt me. Because that is some Flash CW writing if I've ever heard of it, and they didn't do that. Which let me blow everybody's mind. I told everybody on the Flash. I'll tell everybody here. Alex Garfin confirmed to me there is no HBO Max funding to the show. It has identical budgets to the Flash.
Which
so
I'm just gonna for my own edification. How does he know that?
Because he's an actor on the show.
But he's an actor on the show. He's not.
He knows it because
an
he's
executive.
He's like with what do you call it? David Ramsey and Tom Cavanaugh a lot, and they direct the show, so they have like a much better picture of like what resources they're allocated. So my understanding is he knows through them, and it's not like a trade. It's not like a big secret kind of thing. Okay. Across
so just to cover our asses, like as far as we know from what Alex Garfin has been told, there is no budgetary difference.
As far as what
Flash
Jordan
and
Kent
Superman.
told me,
yeah,
not to be confused with Jordan Ellis, who plays Jonathan Kent, which I did call him Jordan on the phone the other day because I was like, I wasn't confused. The character, I was thinking of his freaking brother on set, which made me furious. They should have freaking switched casting if they're going to do that crap. But yeah, it's that literally that the shows have virtually the same budget, but in Alex's perspective, this team cares about the character a lot more. Like they specifically love Superman, and all of them are like the whole cast, crew, makeup team, or whatever. They're like die-hard Superman fans. So it makes it. They put a lot more passion into this project. You can.
Like in a vacuum, in the portrayal of Superman on this show, like regardless of what's going on around him, in the portrayal of Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, you can tell that the people making the show like Superman, which is like
absolutely
not something you can say about Zack Snyder's Superman or
Zack
most
Superman
other
too.
Supermans.
Oh God, I don't want to anger the Snyderverse people, but your Superman sucked, and I know that you're like, well, Zack Snyder planned 4 movies to get us to the real Superman. Cool, dude.
Okay.
Our Superman, season 1, episode 1. Superman as hell.
Just Superman.
That opening montage of him and Lois' life makes me cry. It's so beautiful. It's so well done. It's so well done. But yeah, this Superman is great. The fact that the show, I mean, like, it looks so much more cinematic than The Flash. So to know that they kind of have like relatively the same budget to work with, they're just like figuring ways out.
I've said that for a while. Like I've been kind of against the idea that this one has more budget, because really all it is different color grading and slightly better cinematography. But you can make The Flash look like this show for the most part with
it's just
the same ideas.
You could. It's like the little things that like. I feel like characters on The Flash are always in focus like a sitcom. Like it's just like one huge set thing versus like Superman and Lois, where it's like very shallow depth of field and face. You're seeing one person's face when they're talking, and it's like the little things.
I see what you mean. I think you're being tricked a little bit there. If you look at almost every TV show, if you look at The Flash next to Superman and Lois, and you're just talking about depth of field, they're just as shallow. It's just that there's cinematic bars on Superman and Lois, and it's graded grayer. And it's obviously lit differently.
It picks up color later. Picks up color intensely when Superman gets his powers back. Yeah. When you go back, like his suit's so oversaturated, it looks awesome.
I did notice that about this episode, is it was more colorful, which I enjoy.
It was a really good idea, and I hope that, and I honestly think that the show going forward will be more colorful. Like that's my understanding of that. Like after this arc. And that's good, because we're not Zack Snyder. We're not devoid of color and happiness, because that's the real world. We got The Boys for that, and we already reviewed that one. So
and even The Boys isn't like gross to look at. Like I will say, this show is sometimes gross to look at. And it
definitely has its moments where it's just so washed out. Like
it's like grim for no reason. It's like, come on, like lighten it up a little. I've talked about that before. Where like when I make the thumbnails, I have to recolor grade everything because you can't tell what's going on half the time.
In Supergirl, Superman's suit is significantly brighter. And it's obviously a different suit, but the logo and everything, which is awesome that we get to know that Superman is different than our Superman, because that Superman is implied to be like significantly older, like Supergirl Superman, because he's already done the Daily Planet thing forever, and like Cat Grant was a coworker of his, and she's like this old woman now and like runs a media empire. So it's definitely there's some. I mean, it's CW. There's not continuity for real, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't really think about. No, the last time they thought about stuff was before Crisis, and then Oliver died, and everybody stopped caring.
Oh yeah, there's a comic, and Oliver's alive again. currently. There's like
is
a
there?
future. There's a CW verse future comic that has
Remember when-
everybody in it.
There was the time, maybe this is a different video that we could talk about this, but there, like, I think it was after Crisis where they were like, the multiverse is dead, and then there was a post-credit scene that was like, the multiverse isn't dead, and then for like 2 seasons of The Flash, they were like, I forget who it was, but somebody high up in the CW working on these shows was like, yes, the multiverse is alive, just that the characters in The Flash don't know that yet, and like never came to be a thing,
and it still has never paid off. It's never come to fruition.
No.
Yeah, they still have not mentioned the multiverse,
and...
which, you know, plans change, shows suck. Eric Wallace can, you know.
No, this isn't the Flash review.
I'm saying, yeah.
Poor Eric Wallace is getting strays on different shows.
Eric Wallace. Don't ever say that to me. But yeah, Superman has this like Miss Marvel moment in the episode, or Captain Marvel moment in this episode, where he's like just flowing with energy and just like does cool stuff. I really like that. I know it's kind of corny, where he like gets dropped in the sun. He's like supercharged, like Superman, which is awesome.
I kind of ignored all of the stuff that was wrapping up the stuff with Allie, because I just like, I don't care. I really can't be bothered. Like, I get it. Allie's done. Oh, now there's 2 of them. Please don't bring both of them back. I don't want to see that character
when they're sitting in the cell
again.
together at the end, and they're like
holding hands. After it cut, they probably started making out. Like, it's like, what are you? This is so weird.
She's like, I'll always be here for you.
No,
what, dude? Stop. I hate it. I hate
Never put
that.
the camera on them again. They're so strange.
Other than Allie, solid finale. Allie and and Lois's sister, because I don't think she's useful. I don't think she made any sense this season.
No.
Actually, I'll be honest here and say I probably skipped a lot of scenes of her. So that might be why I don't understand her character. But every time Lucy Lane was on screen, I was like, this bullshit. It's definitely not going to matter in the finale.
It's inconsequential. I think that's the problem, is like all of the super stuff this season was pretty much inconsequential. Like, some of the Bizarro stuff was interesting, but then he's dead, and like, we moved on from that way quicker than we should have. And it's just, you know, there weren't like, that was my main criticism of this season as a whole, is like nothing really happened. Like, we've got Jordan's powers progressing, and like, obviously a lot of small things happen before you go in the comments and list everything to prove me wrong, which people did in our boys finale review.
I couldn't be a part of that one, so I just went and read the comments, and I was like, good for me. I made it out of this alive.
But it's which is weird, because Benny and I both really loved that season. We just had one complaint. But anyway, like, I have a similar complaint about this show, is just like nothing of consequence really happens that matters to the actual plot. Like, if you took the plot away, everything that actually changed, I think, still would have happened.
He got a new fortress.
Yeah, he got
in the water.
Okay, cool.
That was I was very happy. I love, there's like Smallville has a really beautiful scene where he builds the first fortress, and I've always just been like a sucker for the Fortress of Solitude as a concept.
Yeah.
So that there's a lot to love about this show, and this show's easily.
I like where we are now. I like where we are at the end of season 2. I'm excited for season 3. To see.
And I have a question for you. So at the beginning of this season, they baited us with Doomsday, right?
It's true.
He was in the Doomsday containment suit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think the show has earned a Death of Superman yet? Could we kill Tyler Hoechlin yet?
No.
No? How long till they can earn that storyline?
I want 2 seasons of Superman versus a villain that is good.
Yeah.
And then if they want to kill Superman because, that'll get people to watch the show, I don't think they should do Doomsday at all, because that's boring, and it's literally a kill switch. It's just like, do it. Like, do that. Like, Snyder jumped to it immediately, right away. Yeah. And it's like, you don't just pull the Doomsday switch right away. You need to take time.
I think you
and
have
build
to
up
learn to love your Superman. And the thing is, the only reason I could say this show can do it, we already love our Superman. I would be so sad. And it would be a thing of like, if you do it correctly, you know, that means Tyler Hoechlin shouldn't be on the show for like a season. Like, that's the only way to really, they could never do it. Like, remember they did Flashpoint years ago, and then it literally was an episode moment. It was an episode and a half, and then he was like, I created a Flashpoint. Shut.
Like, no, you didn't.
You didn't do anything.
You kept a guy in prison and tried to do weird shit on a different Earth for like a week, and then you went back.
It was implied he did that for months. Isn't that so weird?
It's such a strange
So
thing to make your superhero do.
And
Anyway.
this ties into Superman and Lois because it's all set in the same omniverse, multiverse, whatever.
Well, if you
Everything's
want to say
together.
omniverse, then literally every piece of fiction ever, including our own world, is set in the same omniverse.
Okay, then it's just a multiverse. What's the word for multiple multiverses? Don't they have that in DC right now?
There's like
I think
7
it was
different
called-
words.
I think it was called the Omniverse. I don't know. Or maybe that's
I
just the
think it
name of that
depends.
one season of Ben 10. The one I
That's-
didn't watch.
Was there a season called the Omniverse?
Ben 10 Omniverse. Wasn't that the second
That's
one?
silly.
Or the third? It was after Ultimate Alien. They changed the art style, and the show didn't look anywhere near as good
Season
anymore.
7?
Yeah, it sucked. I hated it.
There's a lot more Ben 10 than I've realized.
Yes, sir.
I love Ben 10. Anyway,
Okay, guys, that's Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. Don't forget to use code comics on gfuel.com when you're checking out. Helps us, helps them. Good across the board. And subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Ask us a question. You can say, Hassan, I have a question directly for you, or Dylan, I have a question directly for you. And as long as it's not the worst thing I've ever read, I might respond. He might respond.
I go through like once a week and reply to people, so
Yeah. So
I'll see you there.
I'm Dylan. That's Dylan.
He's Dylan. I'm Hassan. This has been absolutely. Thank you for watching Superman and Lois. We'll catch y'all next time with something else.
Bye.